I feel like tonight we started off with a strong defensive effort. We had one miscue for that wide open three at the end where otherwise they would have scored 10 points in the first quarter. And then from there, we lost our composure. I felt like offensively, we kept turning over the basketball, which was leading to scoring for them. So not only were we not scoring, but then they're getting out in transition and they're looking to score the basketball. And I really thought that in the second, it was a tale of them being able to impose their will defensively and us not being able to take care of the basketball and manage their pressure. Then coming out into the third, I felt like we did make a push towards it. I think we whittled the game down to 10 or 11 points and trying to make that comeback. And then they, credit to their team, they hit some big shots down the stretch, which kind of forced us into a zone, which, the zone, I felt like we had some pretty good rotations, and then the last 5 seconds would get a little bit too tight, and, they would make some plays. But this is a tough game for us. I feel like in every other single game we've been competing, we've been in it. I think this is a game where we've got to go back to the drawing board and find a way to win. And as a coaching staff, that's my responsibility. I know my players are playing hard every single night, and I've got to do a better job of putting them in a better position to win the game.
Questions for Coach Karsen? In games like this, there's so much pressure to be perfect. So when you look and there is such a discrepancy in rebounding, and you're 7 of 16 at the free throw line, how do you clean up this stuff that you can fix? In the meantime, while you're trying to fix the greater, question of how can we be successful in win games?
I feel like we've got to simplify the game. Right now, we're overthinking on everything, whether that's offensively, whether that's defensively, and we've got to make sure that we make the game as simple as possible from a scouting perspective of rebounding is the most important thing. We talked about it, but it was a number of different things that were on that board that we talked about. I think with this group, it's a matter of addressing some weaknesses that we have as a group and finding out a way to counter those. I think Kennesaw did a great job of exploiting some of our weaknesses. They did a great job of pounding the ball inside and getting some easy scores inside, and we've got to do a better job. They also exploited us 1v1. I thought that they had some great 1v1 baskets. So from my standpoint, it's really about trying to strip the game down and make it as simple as possible. When we're preparing for a team like this, we're trying to think of all the things that we can do, and we've really got to make one or two things and be really good at it.
Coach, I assume that 48 points, you guys had 16 and 8 of those 8. How much were those?
Say that again. I didn't hear you. Sorry, it's a little bit loud.
48 points for them, and you guys had 16, and half of those came for how much of a concern is that?
Yeah, I think from our standpoint, some of those scoring inside was us trying to be aggressive down the stretch because we're in a position, we're down in the fourth, and we're trying to trap and do some things. But I also feel like we're getting looks inside. I mean, the first play of the game, we get a wide open layup, and we're not able to finish. So I think that the looks that we're getting inside, we've got to be more particular about that. But then also when we get them, we got to finish. And I think that trying to teach a new system, a lot of times you can get lost in the X's and O's. And I think as a staff, we've got to do a better job of working on the individual player development, because we're getting good looks. It's just we're not hitting them. We're a lot of times teeing off, and as you see, we shot 28% from the floor. I think that we've got to do a better job of hitting some good looks.
Karsen, when you're going up against a team that brings so much physicality, I mean, you look like they really were just going straight to the paint and scoring. They were 1 of 12 from 3. You can't necessarily prepare for that, but in terms of going forward, how can games like this maybe prepare you as you get into the Southern Conference season in terms of different styles of play and being ready for anything?
Yeah, I think one thing we've been struggling with is kind of coming out with the first punch and setting the tone ourselves. And I think we kind of let Kennesaw do that. We let them attack. We gave them what they wanted, kind of thing. And like you said, you can't necessarily prepare for how quick somebody's going to be, but mentally you can at the same time. And I just don't think we were. We let a lot of turn downs on the baseline, gave them wide open looks in the paint, like 48 paint points. Like it's frustrating to look at. But I just think this is a game we're really going to have to grow from and learn from, and we can't hang our heads because conference is right around the corner.
Coach, I took a pretty hard blow there at the end of the first half. I see you come back right at the beginning of the second half. What do you say about the toughness?
Right now, I'm asking a lot of Kaya, and that's a very tough role to have. And right now, we're running a lot of our offense through Kaya, a lot of our defense through Kaya. She's having to play like 40 minutes a game a lot of the time. And, I think that to see her go down, it kind of takes a gas from everybody on the bench, from all of us, because we know how much she means to us and how much she means to our team. And I feel like she's tough as nails, and she wants to be out there, and she's like, I want to go in, but I think that she's such an important piece to what we're trying to do, and so seeing that was a little bit of a gut check, and I'm glad she's okay, and I'm glad she was able to finish out.
Karsen, you guys have had a lot of good leaders over the past couple of years. Now you're kind of one of the leaders, one of the returners on this team. I see you being, vocal. Where did that come from? And how do you kind of make sure that this 3-game skid doesn't turn into cycle?
I think being in this leadership position, I'm learning a lot as we go as well. And so I think looking back at this game, I have to make sure we stay together as a team. I have to make sure we're not going in there. We don't have kids giving up. We don't have kids frustrated. I mean, we're frustrated, but in a way that we're going to respond coming out stronger, and we want to learn and we want to grow. So I think just from a leadership standpoint, I have to make sure we're in that mindset going forward, and that we don't let this game dictate the rest of our season.